Hi guys, so in this module I want to talk about the art of eating and how to eat correctly. What's happened is we've gone from traditionally sitting down at a table all together and sharing about our day and chewing our food and digesting it, and everyone talking and discussing and sharing emotions, discussing the food, the taste, the flavors. We've just plonked ourselves now in front of the TV, or we get our kids to scoff their food, hurry up, quickly eat your dinner, or we're eating in the car, or we're making smoothies and just wolfing them down without telling our body it's time to eat. So we've really lost the ability to have our full digestive capacity stimulated. So there's something called the cephalic phase digestive response, and that's the head phase of digestion. Cephalic is Latin for head. So basically what this means is seeing your food, smelling your food, and tasting your food. And studies have found that cephalic phase digestive response can make up 40 to 60% of your digestive function, which is really big. And so if we're not eating mindfully and doing these things where we smell, taste, chew our food, we're basically reducing our digestive ability by half. And we're really setting our children up to kind of rush their meals, not eat mindfully, not connect with their food, just because we're so busy now. So something that I really love to discuss, before we get into all the other modules, is eating mindfully. And the art of eating mindfully is so simple, and it's something that you can start doing straight away. So one of the first things I think is very important is to sit down at a dinner table and sit down as a family if you can. Look, if you've only got one child, it's difficult. You might put them in the high chair, you might sit with them and feed them, or if they're a bit bigger, you might put them in their little booster seats and sit down with them and have a meal with them. But basically, eating with your children is very important. Eating the same meals, but potentially just making it more kid-friendly looking on their plate is very important. We need to, bring discussion around meal times so that we're slowing down and we're chewing our food and we're not just rushing it. We're not just sitting there and gulping the food without having any discussion. Talking actually gets our digestive response going, and there's a few other things you can actually do to stimulate your digestion. So belly breathing is a really great thing that you can practice with children, and having things like lemon and lime and even apple cider vinegar at the beginning of a meal can actually help to stimulate digestion as well. Something I like to teach is to rate kids' hunger. Now, this might not be something to do with obviously a young baby toddler, but once they're around the age of 3, you can ask them how hungry are you? 1 is I'm not hungry, and 5 is I'm very hungry. And get them to start tuning into their hunger, because we actually don't want kids to be eating if they're not feeling hungry. And so, kids are very busy, their minds are active, they don't want to be just sitting down and eating unless they're feeling very hungry. And this happens a lot with the fussy eating too, is, we're really stressed to get our kids to eat anything. And so sometimes we'll just give them anything so they've had something. But, they will eat when they're hungry. They will. Their body will tune in and they will actually eat. So if you've filled them up on anything, then their ability to actually eat the healthy thing later on when they're hungry is probably shut down. So getting them to rate between 1 and 5 how hungry they're feeling. Another thing you can do is maybe talk about the food. Oh, this has come from the farmer's market, or this is from the ocean, it's fish, or this is a cow, so it had to get grown by a farmer. I know sometimes it can be weird talking about meats and stuff like that, but this is real life. Sometimes it might, transform a child to become a vegetarian, but whatever, it's their own journey. We're just there to guide them. Talk about what kind of foods they like the most. Talk about why they don't like the greens, or what is it they don't like. Is it the texture, or is it the flavor? Try and discuss flavors with them, getting them to describe. Kids are way more intelligent than we give them credit for. They can actually distinguish flavors if we kind of describe it to them. Get them to lick a lemon, that's sour. Explain what the flavor is before you try and assume what it is. This is sweet, it's a piece of fruit. It's something that you can start training from a very young age so they can start becoming really familiar with their flavors. In this module, I've also linked a few videos in there that I want you to check out. Michael Pollan is someone who I have followed for many years, and he's been a big inspiration to the way I teach and practice, raise my children, all those kinds of things. He's done amazing work over the years. He's a journalist, and he's really, kind of opened up what's happening in the food industry, especially over in America, which is very different to Australia, but we have a lot of crossovers and similarities. So check out those videos and just that's step one, is mindful eating. Sit down at the table, slow down, get your kids involved, setting the table up, doing those things that really connect you with eating your meal once again, and then you can start exploring the other modules after this. So hopefully you find this not too challenging, and it will seem it a little bit in the beginning, but as you practice it, it will just get easier and it will become habitual. And then, before you know it, you're all sitting down every night, setting up the table, and it becomes part of your daily routine.